So I'm feeling silenced by all those around me. I don't really know how to talk about this because I've been so put in solitude, I guess, about the subject, because my family thinks that what happened didn't happen, nor have they really, no, not really, nor have they asked about my younger son or seen or asked about my other kids, period, since everything has happened, and are blaming it on me because I have opinions about what they're doing morally. So Keelan's gonna be posting her perspective on things from where she is mentally with all of this. But I don't want to be silent anymore, and I don't want to feel like I can't say things anymore. So I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to talk about it publicly because it's not fair that my younger son, who is the victim in this situation, I feel is going to be silenced by bullies, adult bullies at that. And he's been called a liar. And I've been called a liar. When I have sat with him while he cried, when I have been next to him while he's telling me what happened and begging me not to get him in trouble, while I have watched the trauma that this has caused for him. And I've been treated like I'm cruel for defending my son, who was 9 at the time of this crime. And again, I'm not going to continue to be silenced because this isn't fair. And the family's making excuses for this child's behavior. He's acting like his father, not in the same sense of the same crimes that his father committed and still continues to commit to this day, but in the sense that his behavior is being enabled and will likely continue to be enabled by the same people that enabled his father's behavior. The lack of impulse control is not being controlled. I have had people call my phone over a track meet, mind you, and threaten to shoot my children in the head at their schools because one child was angry that they had a track meet at his school, and I kindly called the week prior to make sure that no one was going to be embarrassed at that track meet because it was at the other child's school. And I still get calls. I had 125 private calls the Tuesday after that track meet when this child that goes to the high school was contacted by the SRO about what had happened that day. And I will talk about it later. This is just going to be a part 1. So it's a little insight into what's going on or has gone on since April 27th, 2025. I'm going to be talking about my child, who committed a sexual assault, a severe sexual assault, because I cannot say the R word here, on his sibling. I caught him. He admitted to it to my ex, Charles. He admitted to it to me. And he admitted it to an officer on body cam the day he was arrested, April 27th, 2025. And he sat in jail for 78 days because I would not bring him back into my home, because I had other children. Of course, I'm not going to bring him back into my home with the child that he had done it to, but I'm going to be a bad guy for that? I fail to see how that's my fault when he chose to commit the crime that he chose to commit. Of course I'm going to put my other children above that. Why would I do that? But I'll talk more about the day that it happened. Sky was 13 at the time of this offense. I guess I would have to say that I fail to see how I'm... Brinley and Loki, stop it! Now. Sorry, my dogs. I fail to see how we all can be blamed for what happened. When Kyler didn't just tell me, when Keelan went to talk to him, and he spoke it to Keelan. No one put anything in his head. I saw him come out of that playhouse. Kyler's clothes were disheveled. Sky's was hanging out. So tell me again how Kyler's lying and how I put it in his head and why Sky reacted the way he did when he was accused. Of course I was going to have him arrested. Of course I was going to take care of my son. Why? Because no one cared when it happened to me. It was 13 years. 13 years that it happened to me. And people knew from day one. People knew. I know they knew because they told me they knew. And I know my mother knew for a year, and she did nothing because she was more worried about not being alone. The only reason I got saved was because I was brave enough to tell someone at the school that I went to. The very first school I went to, because I was homeschooled up until 8th grade. No one gave a damn about me. I saved myself. So, and they condemned my dad's mom for sticking up for him, yet they're doing the same thing for him. So this is part 1 of a series. That was a little insight into what we are going to be talking about. Give me all your hate. I really don't care. But I'm done being quiet. I'm done being the bad guy. Good luck. Hi, family.